My screen is visible.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So we are going to study. First of all, we are going to study about the Spring core module. Okay, and before that, what we need to learn. Okay, pretty much what we need to learn. We are going to study that. Okay, for sure. So I don't directly jump into that. What is Spring? Okay, or what is Spring framework? What does it mean? Where it can go? Okay, first of all, today's session will be moving around like what do you mean by framework, the real examples of framework. Fine, so now let's understand the very first thing ki if you are learning Java, what you need these days, like these days only, like in the next 5-10 years, because every 15 years or 20 years technology changes, something new comes up with some different frameworks and different technologies, and like these days blockchain are booming. So we don't know that after 10 years or after 7 years 8 years who will win in the framework with Java. Like today's Spring framework is one of them, right? It is so much popular, but we don't know what happens in the next 16 next 6 7 8 years, right? So these days you need to learn core Java first of all, right? Like what is Java, for very basics fundamentals like declaring variables, working with arrays, working with uh, methods, working with functions, and etc. Like how do you manage object oriented programming concepts like polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulation, packages, collection framework is pretty much important. Make sure you will learn. If you don't know collection framework, please keep uh, exploring that. Okay, now let's move. That second thing is Java technology, right? Technology, this is little bit different. There is difference between a programming language and technology. First of all, I am creating a backup inside your mind that okay, we are going to study that Spring is a framework. That framework meaning, the word framework, you have to feel that. Okay, right? You have to feel the feeling, what frameworks say to the developers or any user or a programmer. So first of all, I'm creating that backup inside your mind, right? So second thing is Java technologies. Like simple Java technology means Jdbc. Maybe you don't know Jdbc or you have never worked with Jdbc, but it simply means Java database connectivity. It means your Java application should be connected with a database. So how, why, like how why it is, you have the answer that okay, I need a database connection. Suppose you are creating a restaurant management website or a program. So for a restaurant management program, for that project, you need database now to book the tables, to maintain the records, to maintain the employee records, to maintain the food records, to maintain the customer records. Am I right or not there? Right. So the Jdbc will help you to connect your project, your Java project with what? Database. Okay, got my point?
Okay.
Right now, everything clear?
Yeah.
Now, the second thing is in Java technologies, you need to learn servlets. Okay, now what do you mean by the servlet? It is simply means like servlets will let you make Java projects in terms of web development. Okay, suppose you want to make a such project, you want to make such application that will work over the network, over the internet. So there servlets come into the picture, and you can learn servlets and work with servlets to make that kind of application which can run on a server. Okay, which can run on a server means just simply a computer which is on like 24 into 7 hours 365 days. That's simply a meaning of server means nothing fancy. Okay, don't worry about that. So server is simply a computer, like my computer or your computer, everything can be become server. Okay, so nothing that way. So servlets, Jdbc means working with the database with your Java project. Servlet means working, making an application for internet, over the server. You can deploy and enjoy the facilities, so you can use servlets. JSP, you need more, this is like the extended version of servlet, you can say, not fully extended. You can say loosely you can say that JSP is the extended version of servlet, just because it gives you the logic things and it gives you the presentation things. Like suppose you have two things now, like we have here, if I just go and if I just open the YouTube, so this YouTube contains two things. First of all, the presentation logic, which is seen on the user side, on the client side, that okay, here it's a section, if I'm clicking this it is collapsing, right? If I'm just clicking here it is showing notifications, if I'm scrolling down it is doing like this. So this is what, this is presentation layer. So this presentation layer, this client side, this presentation layer, with the help of Java, if you are making a project in Java, you can use JSP, which is very good thing. But nowadays servlets and JSP are a little bit older, people are not working with these things, people are only shifting to a Spring framework. That's why you are learning, you are here to learn a Spring, because there are so much jobs in a Spring, because it is pretty much secure, too much flexible, and it gives you more flexibility to create or deploy any project. Okay, now JMS means Java mailing service or messaging service, you can say. Suppose you want to mail, like have you ever got that, okay, have you ever changed your Facebook password or Instagram password or Gmail password or anything?
Yeah.
So you have got a mail that, hey Ankit, someone is trying to change your password and the OTP is this, and if you are not this, please click here, report this, right? Some kind of messages you have seen.
Yes.
So if you want to send message or a mail to a person, to a customer, to your user in your through your project through your Java project, then you can use this service JMS. Okay, so with the help of this you can easily send mails or OTP or many things in over the internet, right? So JMS. EJB means enterprise Java means earlier days, I mean like 7-8 years ago, EJB was too much popular for making big applications which do businesses, right? Businesses, it means enterprise Java means. So enterprise simply means like a business or a big business, like in multi-crore business or multi-lakhs business. Okay, so enterprise Java means are that things, right? So this means that Java technologies. So now what happens ki if you are aware with these technologies, or if you have just only the overview knowledge of Java technologies, you will enjoy the process of learning a Spring Boot or a Spring framework. Fine. Now next one is framework. We have covered two things, just core Java includes everything, every fundamentals and also with OOPS and collection framework, exception handling, these things, Java technologies implementing JDBC, servlet, JSP, these kind of things. Frameworks means like you need to learn Hibernate, you need to learn a Spring, and let me again clear you, a Spring Boot is not a framework. A Spring is a framework, a Spring Boot is only a approach to develop your application, to develop your project in a Spring framework. Make sure that a Spring Boot is not a framework. Okay, so if from the next time if anybody say that a Spring Boot is a framework, just give him a slap. Okay, so a Spring Boot is not a framework, it's an approach, only an approach. It automates your work. That's why everyone is going to learn a Spring Boot, and every company is working with the Spring Boot only. Okay, fine. Now I had gone through these things: Hibernate, web services, and these things. Web services means that web services, REST APIs, creating APIs like REST APIs. Earlier we have SOAP APIs, right? So SOAP APIs, I will describe you that what are they. So now look, as we are moving forward, our learning process is little bit too much, it's increasing gradually, right? So core Java, it doesn't require too much of things, but Java, it requires too much of things but not too much hard work. Hard work is here. Hard work is in learning core Java actually. There is no hard work in learning frameworks and Java technologies. Only you have to suffer with this. If you can survive, I mean if you think like okay, I can learn core Java easily, and if you have that patience to learn every concept in core Java, you will easily learn these technologies and frameworks in couple of days. Okay, now let's move forward. That first of all, you have to make clear that these days these three things are going to work with Java. Okay, now I'm talking about like very basic things, and you will be like, okay, what you are teaching, but let me clear you that why I am teaching. So it will give you a very crisp overview for your knowledge for the next coming classes. That's why I'm teaching. So programming language, if many will say that this and that, but I will explain in so much easy way. Like, what do you mean by programming language? It is simply raw material and installable softwares na. Like you download software na, like okay, you have to install Java. So that's why it is known as what? Installable softwares that provide basic and fundamental features of application development. Like suppose, just imagine a scenario that you guys have to make roti, right? Roti, chapati, right? So what will you do? What will you do? Can anyone you say? Please answer.
Floor is needed.
Yeah,
Chapati floor.
correct. But before then, you need that wheat granules, right? That crop, है ना? So that wheat grain, each grain, it's simply like a programming language. You can consider relate it with it. Okay, so why I'm saying about this? Suppose you want to make your application fully fledged application that will work over the internet. Now you are about to make this. What things do you need? So first of all, you have to grow the crop in order to make your roti or chapati. So what do you need? You need a basic knowledge of programming languages, that how they work, because everything is written in where? In programming languages. Like they make operating systems, right? Programming language makes up. If you want to make an operating system, you can use programming language. If you want to make a driver, you can use programming language, like mouse driver, keyboard driver, Wi-Fi driver, LAN driver, USB driver, anything. I'm like getting my point now from where I'm talking these points.
Yeah.
Fine. So it defines syntax and semantics of programming. Like how? So syntax simply means what? A fixed a structure that a programmer will follow to write code. Right now, syntax means this, like that semicolon, you do not miss semicolon, you should not miss semicolon. This is a syntax. You have to put a pair of parentheses. Parentheses means a small bracket. Okay, so I'm opening Paint. So whenever I say a word parenthesis, it means this. Okay, that is small. Simply in programming term, it is known as parenthesis. I don't know the spelling. I think parenthesis, and this is the curly bracket, you already know, and this is a square bracket, you can say. Okay, but this one parenthesis. Fine. So semantics means group of symbols. Like suppose you have to add int a variable with int b variable. How will you add? Like you will add int c equal to a plus b, right? So this plus symbol here is denoting what? That we are trying to add what? A plus b. So that group is known as what? Like semantics. They are like symbolic things. Okay, so they are like, so in programming language you have syntax, you have semantics, these things. Now programming language are basic requirements, like as I said just 2 minutes before, that in order to make operating system you use programming language, database softwares, tools, drivers, everything, right? So programming language is this thing. So suppose you are making roti, you go to a farmer and ask him for the crops. He gave you the crop, the raw crop, the wheat granules, right? So now next thing, you prepare what? You just wash it and make a powder, right? Powder. So flour, wheat flour, atta, right? The powder thing. So that is technology. That powder is like technology. So what technology? You have to add a little bit more things in that, right? So if you if you are working with programming languages, you are working with that crop granules, that wheat grains. Now you are working with technology. It means you are working with now powder, that wheat atta, wheat flour, that raw flour which is in the form of powder. So why? Because technology, software technology, it it is created by the help of one or more programming languages. Okay, suppose you know Java and I know let's say Python, then we can make something, some technology. We can come with first technology by mixing these things, by developing some kind of softwares, so that many other people can again create a implementation software. Now I'm getting why it is little bit going little bit tough to understand, but again I'm trying to explain it. So technology, look, it is created by what? One or more programming languages. Simple, first of all. So as I earlier said that JDBC is what? Technology. Okay, so JDBC technology defines some rules and guidelines. Suppose you are going to start a business of let's say what I can say, let's say you want to start a car rental business. Okay, so you will have some rules and guidelines for your drivers, that okay, you should not go up to 80 km per hour, or you always have to use seat belts, or you always have to wear cap. Maybe wearing cap is optional for your drivers, like for a proper uniform dress. So rules means what? Fixed things. Am I right or not? So rules, there are rules in the game. So in the game, if there is any rule, then every player will have to follow it, right? Rules means what? Fixed things, na? Strict things, right? You have to follow it at any cost. Strict things. But guidelines means what? You may follow or may not follow. Okay, optional to follow, right? This is the simple meaning. So rules and guidelines. So these technologies provide this JDBC, this servlet, this JSP, this JMS, EJB. They provide what? Both the things, rules also and guidelines also, some fixed thing also and some unfixed things, some guidelines also. Okay, this is the meaning of technology. So now how software can be made through the technologies? By using its APIs. What? APIs, application program interface. And our goal will be to make APIs using a Spring Boot. That will be covered at the last of the course. Okay, because that's the more important thing. And after completing everything, you can only be able to understand that how technology APIs are working, how you can create REST APIs. For as of right now, just understand that API is nothing but it means application program interface. And application program interface is nothing, it's just a middleman. It is acting as a middleman between a user, a customer, and a software, and a platform, and a application. Okay, two things are there, na? Software, who will use that software? Who will use your software? Who will use your Android application? A customer or a user? Simple thing, right? Getting my points?
Yeah.
So but in order to use your software, you have to feed some data to your customers through your app. So that data will come from where? That data will come from APIs, application programming interface, right? That's the things. For suppose the same thing I'm explaining to you right now in some another language. Like suppose this is let's say we have Indigo Airlines. Okay, now can you say, so let's suppose ki Indigo Airlines have 16 flights each day. Okay, each day. First one is at 6 a.m, 7 is at 7 a.m, next, and then 8 a.m, then 8:20, am, and so on. Okay, suppose these have 16 airlines, so on. So now can you take the name of some apps that can be used to book the Indigo Airlines? Can you tell me some apps? Please tell me. Chandana, Jay.
Actually, no.
Hello. How suppose you want to go from Hyderabad to Mumbai using flight, so which platform will you use to book the ticket? Say some name. Chandana, are you there?
Yeah,
Say some name.
book flight ticket.
Maybe that book flight ticket, or maybe you can use Paytm. There's an option. Book my trip is an option. You don't know about these things. You are like too much silent. I can expect that you
Make
don't.
my trip.
Make my trip. I think book my trip. I write. Oh, make my trip. I think Jdbc is also there. And now this Flipkart you can use also. Fine. So can you now tell me that here bookflight.com, if there is a flight of Indigo airline which is like timed at 6 a.m, so everywhere it will show 6 a.m, or somewhere it will show 7 a.m, or somewhere it will show 8 a.m. No, na. Same flight will be, na, like flight name, let's say this flight name is like 6 a.m 180. Let's suppose this is the flight name. So this 6 a.m 180 flight name will be shown everywhere, na, at the same time, na.
Yeah.
Am I right or not? Are you guys listening?
Yeah.
So it will show same, na, or it will show different times for different applications? No, na, because if they do so, their business go to hell. Their business will not exist, na, fair, right? So how these things are happening? All right, suppose here it is the platform, and here is the user. He wants to book it, so user will go here. This user will book these tickets, right? This flight ticket, but not directly, by using what? These platforms, right? They will book by using this platform. They will book like this. So inside this platform, in these platforms like Paytm, like book my trip, like Paytm, make my trip, Jdbc, Flipkart, everything on every platform, it is showing the same time, the same data at the same time, right? Nothing different at all. Why? Because of APIs, application program interface. Okay, what they do, that Indigo Airlines developer will have the work of Indigo Airline developer will have, they will have a separate team to develop these APIs. Now they will do what? They will make code, they will make application, they will make APIs for what? For these flights, for each and every flight that they have, right? So each and every flight, and that code, that separate code, suppose this is a flight code, everything, the flight data, every flight data that Indigo Airlines have will now be encapsulated into APIs, packed into APIs. Now this API will be shared with every platform. Okay, every platform, the same APIs, because same data is there, so same API is there. Otherwise you have to see a little bit fluctuation in the data, right? Now are you getting my points? The same way these companies now, because data is everything. If you have data, you are a crorepati. Okay. So like if you just see that Zomato do what? Zomato is not only a food delivery service business. Do you know they have the data that at the what exact time what kind of food people are liking at most, right? Am I right or not? They have the data now that how many paneer tikka is ordering, butter chicken is ordering.
Yeah.
So by the help of these things they can, suppose you have to you got like ki, okay, I will open a restaurant and earn money, so you can go to Zomato. Suppose you are living in a Hyderabad now, you can go to Zomato and ask, hey Zomato, can you tell me I want to open a restaurant in some areas that I don't know because I don't live in the Hyderabad. So suppose XYZ a street, so can you say that can you tell me, can you help me that what kind of food I will prepare in my restaurant so that more business will come to me. So they will explain you, but they will charge you of course because they are a restaurant suggested business also they are doing. Why? What? By the help of what? Only the data. They have the lakhs of data, right? That what kind of food are offering from where it is getting delivered A to Z, right? So data means you have crorepati. So that API, with the help of API you can do magics today, right? Literally you can do magics. So the API that you will be thinking okay, if I go to a company, if I will have a job, I will work on APIs. The same API you will be creating, dude. Okay, same APIs, that APIs. Suppose you created an API and you shared with me, okay, like there is an authentication for that authentication process. You can share, if you share that URL and authentication process na, I can use your data to display over mine application, right?
So what is the difference between APIs and database?
Database is a store. Suppose you want to store too much of things like you have some iron rods, some hammers, some screwdrivers, then you generally a little bit higher class people have that a storeroom in their houses, right? All the kacharas, all the garbages they will throw in the storeroom, that okay, someday it will work. So that is a storeroom. So all the data that you want to contain, where you will store? So data will be stored in what? Where? Data will be stored in database. But API is a set of code. API is a set of code, not a database. API is a set of code to process that data, to catch that data and to save some data into that, to update the data.
Okay.
Clear? API
Yeah.
means what? These are some sets of code
Okay.
and they will help you to save some record, some information into database and update some database. Okay, like you change your password, so your password, your changed password is existed where? In the database of a Facebook, of Instagram, or any application that you use. So that is happening through APIs, but that where it is happening? Inside a database. Through which things? API things. Okay.
Okay. That means it is the internal code, like.
Yes, now you got it. That's why I'm keep saying that ki APIs are set of codes, nothing but set of codes that will be executing during your any activity that you do inside any application or any software or any project. Okay, now database simply means the storeroom. It's a place to keep your data, like a container box, a very big container box.
Okay.
That's the thing. So technology API, now understand it, that technology software. What is software technology? It is created with the help of one or more programming languages. Now we were in the process of making roti or chapati, so we have reached till that powder making process, the flour making process of our wheat granules, our wheat grains. Now listen here, that technology API means interfaces, abstract class and concrete classes. So interfaces you already know na in Java.
Yeah.
You Jaya is there or not?
Yes. I know.
You already know na what are interfaces, what
Yeah.
are abstract classes, what are
Yeah.
concrete classes. Like concrete classes means simply that class which is actually where you will actually write the code. Abstract class means abstract class has a like it's kind of that topic will be in oops. So there's a difference between interface and abstract class, right? So maybe you will be knowing that. So concrete class means the every code that will be gone you will write inside this concrete class, that what I have to do or not, right? From login code, logout code, register, save, update, anything. So the actual logic you will write in concrete classes with the help of interface and abstract classes. Okay, so technology API means interface. Look, API means interfaces, abstract classes represent what? Both rules and guidelines. Now I have just written here that rules means what? Fixed things that you have to follow. So suppose you already know the core Java. So if a class, if I write like this, class A implements interface I. Can you explain what do you mean by this? Anyone? Chandana, Jaya, and can you explain this thing? Suppose I am your interviewer for a minute. Can you explain this?
Interface I get the properties of class A.
Yes. Can you explain, Jay? Hello, are you there? Yeah, you can speak clearly. If you don't know, no problem. You can say that okay, I don't know. Please explain me. I will. Can you explain?
No.
Okay, no problem. Look, class A implements means interface I. You are correct. But let me explain more, Chandra. Okay. So interface I, whatever properties this interface I will have, it must be implemented by this class A. Okay, it must be, not should be even. It must be. It means 100% it is required to implement these things. Right now, Chandana?
Yeah.
So suppose if you have 10 methods in this interface, then all the 10 methods, not even 9, all the 10 methods will be implemented here. All the 10 methods will be written here also, and here also, not actually here. All the 10 methods bodies, method definition will be given inside this class A, right? So this means, so you can explain like this. Okay, fine, great. We were on here. So technology API, suppose Jdbc technology that provides API, so it means that they will provide you some interfaces, some abstract classes, some concrete classes. Got my point? Because API is nothing na. I said that API is set of code, and set of code means what? In Java, where will you code? You will code in class na. You will code where? You will code in class na. You will write like this na, public class. Right, Jay? Have you ever seen na encoding that, like public class A like this, right? And here all the codes goes here, right? Are you listening? Jay, you are not speaking. Hello? Keep speaking. It feels like we are interacting, right? So all the class, inside the class you are writing all the code, right? So, and this somewhere you will also see that class A implements interface I, right? Implements I like this. So it means like a class will have all the basic properties that whatever this interface I will have, like whatever the field variables and the data members and the member functions, like methods, member functions mean methods, and data members mean variable, everything this class A will have also. Okay, implement also. So technology API means what? Interfaces, abstract classes, or it may have like extend, implements. It's like extends also. Sometimes you will see the code like this, that public class user, let's say, extends user admin, like this. They are two classes. Okay, so user admin is
What
an
is the difference between class and interface?
yes, that's a right question. I will tell you. Just first of all, let me finish this. Okay, then I will
Okay.
explain you. So look, so this code can be seen inside a project, any project. Okay, so suppose sometimes they are extend, so this user admin is also a class. Sometimes it may be abstract class. Now if you ask what is abstract class, then we can like continue this discussion for an hour also. So I will, this is not the right time, but I will let you know everything, don't worry about it. So two classes are there. One I am saying that one is concrete class, and one I am saying is what, one I am saying abstract class. Okay, so that could be a discussion, that what do you mean by abstract and what do you mean by concrete class. But first of all, understand that there are, one class is another thing and abstract is totally another thing. Okay, very clear with it?
Okay.
So like this, so interface is attached with what, this class, right? So if interface is attached with this class, it means interface is also gonna use, class is also gonna use, right? And sometimes abstract class is also gonna use. So that's why it is written here that APIs, I said that APIs are set of codes will be written where, codes will be written here na, in class na, in interface na, in abstract class na, right na? You will write some code in interface, you will write some code in class, you will write some code in abstract class na. So that's why it is saying that technology API means what, like interfaces, abstract classes represents both rules and guidelines. Why rules and guidelines? Interface means what, I told you right now just 5 minutes ago, that when you have 10 methods, you must, means 110% you have to give all the basic definition of that method inside your class. So interface means fixed rules. Interface means what, fixed rules. That is the rule, you have to follow it strictly, right? And abstract class is little bit soft hearted. Okay, abstract class says that okay, maybe you can use me or not, okay, maybe you can use, but interface is little bit strict. It says okay, you have to use me, you have to use my properties, otherwise I will give you an error. Got my, now are you getting what, both are similar, the work of interfaces and abstract class are similar. Little bit difference is interface means that interface says like, hey, I am a strict person, you have to use my all the properties if you are using any interface. But abstract class is a little bit soft hearted, it says that okay, maybe if you want you can use, but it is not required that you must use this, right? So guideline means what, suppose someone is giving you guidelines, hey, don't walk in the right side of a road. Maybe this your personal choice, now you can walk or not, but there is a rule in national highways or in public places where everyone is walking, right? So at the public places there is rule. Inside your gully you don't follow rule, inside your colony you walk away by right side, left side, no one cares. But if you go on a highway or a public place or a public area or a road, on a government road, then their rules are rules na, you have to follow them, you have to walk on left side, right? So that's a kind of interface, and walking in gully means like abstract classes. Okay, you can follow. So guidelines mean guidelines, you can follow or you cannot, but rules you have to follow. That's why it is written. Concrete classes are such simple classes, normal classes, okay, which can be used with interfaces and abstract classes. Okay, fine, everything gonna clear in your mind that what API means. API means what, some set of codes that is used to process the data, and process the data means update the data, create the data, delete everything, right? So that means to fetch the data, get the data, load the data, something, anything you can say. So that thing. And inside the API what things are there, so in packages, and inside the packages what things are there, interface, abstract, because in Java there is package concept. you have learned in oops. Okay, do you know, are you aware with na object oriented programming language, and there are concept like packages? Are you aware with it na, like like this yaar, let me com dot, like this you will have, so
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
java, like this
It
you
is
have
Java.util.
java.util.scanner. Like a scanner is a class, but java.util is what? It's a package, right? Java.util package. Many things are there na, java dot this package, that package, too much things are there. So packages are another concept. Are you aware with Chandra this package concept?
Yeah, yeah.
Fine then. So inside that package there are some sets of interfaces, and interface will contain some code, concrete classes will contain some code, abstract classes array it. If API means code, then inside interfaces everything is code. Concrete means code, abstract means code, right? Clear with these things? Everything you got clear?
Yeah.
So now tell me here just a simple question regarding this. Array, this go here. Where I have made here. So now can I say that Indigo Airlines? Can I say that? Just yes or no question. Can I say that now airline, that is Indigo Airlines, had developed its API, its technology API, and shared it with Paytm, Book My Trip, Make My Trip, GoIBO, Flipkart. This statement is correct or not? True or not?
Yeah, true.
True na Jaya? So
Yes.
now this yes, this is true. Now inside that API what things are there? Inside this API what things are there? Can you say what things are there?
Code.
Are every code, right? So where we write code, I earlier told you, like this, inside this all code will be like written here inside the classes, right? So class, and these classes are packed where? Inside the packages na boss, or simple it is. So you can look, if you don't know, if you are a little bit getting hesitate about the packages whenever I am speaking, just search java.util. Let me show you, it will open your mind. So this is my style of teaching. First of all, I create backup in your mind for each and every concept, then I go jump into the concept, because it will, like, suppose if I create 10 minutes of backup for a 2 minutes of concept, then it will easy to grab na, right? So just see, we have package java.util. Okay, now just see, this package contains what? Interface, like these things, right? So much of interfaces here. Class summary you can see, like abstract list, abstract map, and you can see that one a scanner is there. Maybe you had used a scanner in your earlier days during learning of core Java to take input from the keyboard, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
A scanner is equal to new scanner system.in, and then you write sc.next int .next float, like this, right?
Yeah.
Look,
Add next
class
line.
class scanner. This is class scanner, where it is present java.util. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this class scanner, now just see all implemented interfaces. It is using some interfaces, and what is the name of its interface? So closable, auto closable, iterator. These are interfaces, right? So it is inside where? Util, and inside this class you can see some code. How? Just see, these are some code na yaar. You can see, just go to your method, right? Look, this method is there. So this is code, this is set of code that is written, right? This is set of code that is just well documented here, that's why you can't see the exact code, right? But this is all the code, this is all the methods that you already know how to define a method in Java, right? Has next sort, you will have using, like, let me show you. Next, this one to a store in a string, right here. So this is what? This is like all the codes. So these codes are where? These codes are inside where? These codes are written in this class. Which class? A scanner class, right? A scanner class na. In a scanner class I have show you code na, and this scanner class is present where? Util na. Util, java.util package na. So if I say that okay, APIs are where you can find all the APIs. So API means set of codes, like there may have different packages, right? And inside that packages, what will be there? Classes will be there, right? Now you are clear with that. Okay, there will be classes. And what next? There are some interfaces as well. I had showed you these interfaces like closable, auto closable. These are what? These are interfaces. Just click on it and you can see that interface closable. You can see na closable, and I can show you the class as well. Look, all non-implementing classes. That it means these are all the classes which is using this interface. Okay, so we have seen that a scanner class is there. Let's find out. There will be a scanner class. OPQRS will be there. Look, scanner class is here, right?
Yes.
So now got this meaning of like technology API. It means set of codes, and set of code in the form of interface, in the form of class, in the form of abstract class.
API means stored code or written code, like in projects.
Look,
Helps to fetch the data.
yes, that's correct. But look, there are perspective of defining the term API. It has not only a certain meaning. Suppose if an interviewer asks, hey, what is API, can you tell me about? So you just say, sir, do you want me to explain the API in a general term? So if he says yes, so general terms means it is acting as a middleman, that I had explained you this thing, right? API is this. Totally, just explain little bit, enough, it is enough. It is acting as middleman between two parties, right? The first one is platform and the second one is what? User, who is booking that flights, right? You can explain like this. Now if the second perspective of explaining API, the second perspective is that, sir, should I explain the API in term of technology terms? If you say yes, then start explaining about, sir, it is a set of code that is written in the form of some packages, some classes, some interfaces, some abstract classes, which help us to share our data, to process our data, is right?
Yeah.
Like this. Okay, fine. Now you everything clear with the meaning of API?
Yeah.
Okay, now you just look, if you feel the term, like if you feel the concept with the meaning of that term, then it is now more easier to learn the things. It's a fun learning, right? That's why I take too much time in these things. Fine, we have clear with it, this much of things. Now software technology, the same thing, that software technology may be categorized into two parts, like open technology and proprietary technology. These are simple, you don't need to remember these things, and no one gonna ask that, okay, define open technology and proprietary technology. This is for your general purpose information. Okay, so open technology, simple means which is open, which is free to use. Okay, free for all, like Twitter, like some days before it was open sourced, right? Now Twitter is like bought by Elon Musk, Elon Chacha bought that for about like 44 billion. Okay, fine. So I'm talking about the software technology. So technology means like there are two types of technology, open and proprietary. So proprietary means, do you know the term proprietary means intellect? Suppose you have your intellectual property. So proprietary means you have the control over that. Suppose your phone is your proprietary, you own that phone. Okay, that is the meaning of proprietary, means owning. Okay, so open means what? Free to use. But proprietary means what? Owning, right? So suppose Microsoft is which kind of technology? Open technology or proprietary technology? No, yaar, how open? Open technology means that is free to use, but Microsoft is not free. We are using the pirated version, right? You don't, like, suppose you want to use Microsoft Office, like only trial is free, na boss. Only trial for 30 days are free. After then you have to pay, right? So that's just think little bit. Okay, so that comes under proprietary technology. Now if you ask that, sir, what do you mean by the proper open technology? What are the examples of open technology? Twitter, do you pay Twitter? No, you don't pay. Does it owned by any private company just some days
Yeah,
before, some days before
we
now.
have the
Huh. But
we
like
have the
GitHub,
IDs, right?
GitHub is what? Arey, GitHub is open technology, right? You can use
Eclipse
some
ID,
of its
Visual
feature.
Studio Code.
Or more Arogya Setu, you have heard about the Arogya Setu application, and that is open source. So open source or open technology means their rules and guidelines are open to use. You can
It is free to
participate, you
use,
can
right?
contribute. Yes, ask. What are you asking?
Yeah, which is free to use, right? Open source means.
हाँ, open source means. So Arogya Setu is open source. So Arogya Setu, suppose you want to develop some feature for Arogya Setu. If the team of the developers like them, like your feature, they will have, they will be do live. Okay, they will live your feature. They will upload your feature into Arogya Setu app. Everyone will be enjoying your feature. Right, so that is the meaning of open technology. Proprietary means you have to pay, right? Only you have to pay and use through the license, right? So that means the proprietary technology. If you are using my bike, okay, just if I'm your friend, okay, it's a open technology, it's kind of open relation. But suppose you are borrowing from the Ola, Uber or Rapido, then that's a proprietary, that there, right? If something happens, maybe they were in contact with some insurance companies, tie up with insurance company, they will pay, right? But someone is paying, so that's proprietary technology. Fine. So if anyone which is free to use, which has free access, then open technology comes under open technology. But if anyone have to buy the license and rules and guidelines are specific to one vendor, right, then it comes under what? Proprietary technology. Fine, let's move forward. Okay, clear open and proprietary, nothing fancy.
Clear.
Fine. Now JDBC, what I'm talking about, the Java database connectivity. Your Java application should contact with your database, right? So connect with your database. So JDBC is a open technology. Now understand very clearly. JDBC is open technology. It is free, right? Suppose Chandana make own database software today. Okay, he said that, okay, I want to make a database software like Chandana DB. Okay, Chandana DB. Now, what are the ways to make it more popular? More flexibility and more features, right? More flexibility, more features, easy to use, easy to learn. They will result in a very good marketing of your Chandana DB software, Chandana database, Chandana DB. It's like MySQL or PostgreSQL, right? If your database is, your software is more flexible, more having features, easy to use, it will automatically boom in the market now. Am I right now?
Yeah.
So just suppose that how it can be more flexible. So more, for making it more flexible, spelling correct the spelling, sorry. So if you want to make it more flexible, you have to work with different of programming languages. So Java is one of them. So you have to work with JDBC now, right? You have to work with JDBC now. So you will go to the JDBC and read its documentation. You will go to JDBC and read the rules and guidelines. Who? The Chandana DB team, okay, will read what? Rules and guidelines of what? This JDBC technology, because this is an open technology, it is free, right? Because you want to work your database with what? Java. So to make this work, you have to go where? For the JDBC technology, and you will study the rules and guidelines, then created your own software, Chandana JDBC driver, Chandana DB driver. Okay, Chandana JDBC driver. Now understand what this driver. So when you learn JDBC, there a concept comes between driver. Okay, driver of a class. Driver simply means suppose normal driver drives what? A car, right? Or let's say four-wheeler car, a Scorpio, let's say Mercedes, let's say BMW, let's say Tata Nano, whatever, right? So driver, what is the purpose of driver? To drive the car, right? Na? So
Yeah.
to connect just understand this. To connect your database, suppose this is your database. What? This is your database. This is your database, and this is your Java application. This is your Java app. Okay, I said earlier, this is Chandana DB. Let's say you have made your own Chandana database. Okay, now I said that you have to go where? You have to go through the JDBC concepts, right? But you cannot work with JDBC directly because JDBC defines some rules and guidelines only then. So that rules and guidelines had already read, and a software is developed by Chandana JDB, and that software is known as what? JDBC driver. Okay, that software is known as what? JDBC driver. So what I will do by the time of developing my app, I will use the Chandana DB driver, Chandana JDBC driver. Suppose you are so much rich, okay, you are a millionaire, you have some Mercedes, you have Jaguar, okay, and you have a driver also. So if you want to travel from Hyderabad to Bangalore, you will say, hey driver, let's go, right? Your driver will drive. So the same way you say at a driver, Chandana JDBC driver, please connect my Java app to what? This software, this Chandana DB. Now clear what the driver does?
Yeah.
Clear na? It makes the connection between what?
Java
This
app and
your Java app and the database. So driver. So these drivers are what? Implemented softwares. Implemented softwares. Right? I can say na that these softwares are implemented by what? JDBC driver, JDBC technologies. Why? Because to make this driver, there is some sort of rules and guidelines that JDBC will have given, and you have read all the rules and guidelines and then developed a software name as Chandana JDBC driver. Clear with the JDBC technology? Why I am saying that the JDBC is a technology? It
Yeah.
provides APIs, means rules and guidelines, some set of codes, and you will use that code to develop these things, this driver, and by the help of driver, a programmer can use its Java app connecting with your database software. Everything got in your mind now?
Yeah.
Very crystal clear, crisp content.
Yeah. Clear.
Fine, this is the meaning of like a technology. So it is open, like JDBC is open. It means it is already providing what? Rules and guidelines free for all. Now MySQL company, Oracle company, PostgreSQL company came into the picture, and they read the guidelines of JDBC API. They make their own JDBC driver in order to connect with Java database. Suppose Postgres is not there, then PostgreSQL will not be popular that much. Simple na yaar. Java is using too much na. Everyone is using Java in every industry. 3 billion devices, more than 3 billion devices are using Java. So database are also popular. So if JDBC is not there, how can you use that PostgreSQL database with your application? You cannot use. You have only two choices like MySQL and Oracle and many more, but not a PostgreSQL. So if there it is developing what? JDBC driver already developed by the help of what? Reading this JDBC technology. Got my point na? Everything JDBC. What do you mean by technology? What do you mean by API? What do you mean by JDBC technology? What do you mean by open technology, proprietary technology, right? Like programming language, like technology. Everything clear na right now? Or a little bit of, if you have a little doubt, you can ask. Just a small, very.
MySQL is database or JDBC driver?
MySQL is a database. It's not a JDBC driver. Like this here I explained that okay, Chandana want to make a software in database. So Chandana make what? What named the database Chandana database. Okay.
Okay.
Now Chandana database is another software, and this one is another software. That driver is another software. Okay, JDBC driver. So suppose you have to.
So driver acts as an connection, right? So
You are getting like driver. Suppose a simple thing. Let me clear how happens. So suppose you have a car and you have a truck, a 22 tires truck. Okay, so can you is it possible to drive your 4-wheeler car the same driver which easily drive that 22-wheeler truck? No, everyone have another experiences, na.
Yeah.
So as easy as it is, like you suppose you drive a scooty and you have to drive bullet. It is little bit difficult to drive now, so it is better to have another person. So the same thing what does have, like if this is MySQL na, if this is MySQL software, they are the database, the one service they are providing, that you can store the database using MySQL software. That's another thing. But to use with Java, they developed one more software, right? They developed what? One more software, and that named as MySQL JDBC driver. MySQL JDBC driver. JDBC driver. And but how they read all the documentation of JDBC APIs, JDBC technology. They read, first of all, they read that what are the rules for developing this software. You can't develop directly na, you can't use na. That's why suppose you want to come in my home. If I not tell you the exact way to reach my home, exact address, how can you reach? It is difficult for you. So simple, how can it contact with the Java? So that thing is taken care by JDBC technology, that whatever database things comes, you have to come with me. JDBC Java database connectivity, first of all come with me. JDBC say that you are working with database softwares, hey please Chandana, come with me, first of all talk to me, know the rules and guidelines to make this a driver, right? So a driver have to be trained na. Suppose the same way MySQL JDBC driver should have been trained for connecting your project, your Java project with MySQL. So that's need a driver, right? So suppose you are working with Python, so somewhere there is another driver, Python driver may be there, right?
Yeah.
Got my point? Now everything clear na? Why JDBC driver, what JDBC technology means.
Yeah.
So nothing fancy about JDBC, it simply means a Java database connectivity. All the things related to Java in terms of database handled by JDBC technology. Fine? Clear? Crystal clear?
Clear.
So now we were in the process of making roti, our chapati. So we have cut the crops and make it the powder, right? So we have cut the crops means programming language, you have make the powder, wheat flour means technology. Now we are going to finally mix water and throw it and keep it on the tawa, that pan, the hot pan, and make the roti, right? So that fully fledged thing, that dough, that flour dough, atta you can say, that gutha hua atta, that you understand na. So that flour which is like mixed with water, that is framework. Now which is more easier, which takes more time, the crops or the powder crops, the powder wheat, or the wheat that is mixed with water and make a dough? From which thing it is easier to make your roti and in short period of time? Which thing? Can you say, Jaya?
Yeah. Come again.
From the crop it will take longer time, from the powder mix it will take little bit longer time, and from the dough that is mixed with the water it will take very short time. You don't have to do too much of things na. Already dough is prepared, you have to go and make the just start your burner on and just keep the one piece roti inside your pan and then just make it heat up well, just a little bit. But if you have to make from the wheat grains, then it is a long process. So now you got my point, what my process in teaching you. Like, framework helps you as a programmer to develop things very 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 fast. Clear?
Yeah.
So that's why I was telling you that programming language is what? Wheat granules. It will take longer time to create roti, to make roti, to prepare roti to eat, right? And you are hungry but you can't wait, so use framework to develop your application. If you can't wait, right? Don't go through the database technology or programming languages. It will take lots of times to create that application. Got my point?
Yeah.
So that's why framework is booming nowadays. In this rush world, everyone wants too much of fast things. Like they want to load the customer fast, buy the fast. So every fast quick things. This all can be happen through the framework, right? Everything is prepared inside the framework. You only have to work with several things. Okay. That's why I said earlier also, learning is little bit too much but not tough in Java. Okay, because first of all, in order to make a good roti, you have to understand now, okay, this dough that mixed with water should be little bit tough or little bit loose. Like more tough, it will create difficulty, more loose, it will create difficulty. So you have to go through all the process now in order to learn that step.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So that's why, so that's the all behind that mindset to make you understand these things, that what do you mean by programming language, that what do you mean by technology, what do you mean by framework. So programming language, you can make the software but it will take too much of time, and you can use technology but it will slightly take too much of time. But framework, it will not take too much of time. It will just, you can prepare your whole application in 1 or 2 or 3 days and it is ready to use on the internet and go live with lakhs of customers, right?
Yeah.
So this is a framework. Look, it is a special software that provides abstraction. It just you can easily if anyone asks that what is framework, so if you give like this explanation, everything will be like, oh man, he knows something.
Hibernate is a framework.
Hibernate is a framework
Okay.
that comes under this ORM framework. Okay. Not a technology. JPA is a technology, just like JDBC is technology. JPA is technology, which is ruling the Hibernate. Like this driver, who rules these drivers? The JDBC. These drivers: MySQL driver, Chandana driver, Jaya driver, Ankit driver, PostgreSQL driver, Oracle driver. Everyone, if JDBC changes some rules, then everything has to be changed here, right? Whatever rules they have changed. So suppose in order to open a new bank, you have to make license through RBI, Reserve Bank of India. So suppose Reserve Bank of India drops in news that okay, we are changing 5 rules of the bank. You have to follow that now, right now?
Yes.
Chandana Bank of India, let's say. So Chandana Bank, which is in India, will, if they don't follow, Chandana Bank will, if not follow all the rules and guidelines made by the RBI, then RBI will cancel the license. So customer can't use their services of Chandana Bank of India, right? So that's the thing. You can relate with it. Like, so JDBC is like RBI, JPA is like RBI, JDBC driver are like your own softwares, like MySQL own, Oracle own, PostgreSQL own. Got?
Yeah.
Now clear. So I hope you are now clear with what is do you mean by programming language, like wheat granules. What do you mean by like technology? It's like a little bit of mixed powder, and now it is ready for preparing dough. And now framework is what? A fully prepared dough. You only have to heat up the pan. Now you work with your roti and eat them. Okay. So this is easy. So that's why developing application and softwares with frameworks is pretty much easy. Fine, just learning process is a little bit large, but nothing tough. Fine.
Fine.
So that's why. So why now for one last question, that why I have discussed this much of things today. I can rather start like what do you mean by a spring. So if I say tomorrow, okay, a spring is framework, so you now know, array, spring is framework, it means a spring will never take time too much to develop the things, right now.
Yeah.
So you will feel these things when I will teach you about the spring. When I give you the explanation about a spring, you will be back of the mind, these concepts will be running and you will enjoy that process. The learning never becomes boring if you learn like this way. Fine.
Fine.
Okay, I will meet you in the next class. By the way, Chandana, your last question, you have asked that what is class or something, I can't remember, can you repeat?
Difference between class and interface.
Okay, so class is like a file. Okay, like you have you ever worked with the PPT? Chandana, Jaya, have you ever guys worked with the PPT? Have you ever saved a PPT and stored into on a pen drive or something? Have you
Yeah.
saved, right?
Yeah.
So that PPT file is what, like that it's a file, na? That this PPT is a file, na? I can save it, right? So class is a file. Okay, what, class is a file, but interface, first of all, class is also file, interface is also file. Now in class you write all the code definitions. Now we will say what code definitions. Just 1 minute, I'm replying a message. So code definitions means that all the things related to the code that will execute that entire code. Okay, suppose you write 10 lines of code and you want to execute that 10 lines, right? So you will write it in the class. Now you want to name that code into a separate thing, then you have to create an interface. Okay, so there are two different files, one is interface, one is class. Inside class you will write something that will really execute, right? And if you want to separate all the logics, you can use interface. Suppose you want to write login code, or let me here make something. I will just create a new page. Okay, suppose you created first of all void login. Are you aware with this?
Yeah.
What I'm doing, I'm creating just a what, this is what, this is just a method, right? I just make void register. Okay, so suppose customer want to log in or register account. So two things I have written. So all the logics, how customer will come, how they will log in, how I will check through if and else condition that their password and email is ready or not. So whatever I will write here, right? Now comes into the register. So I will check that whether the user already existed or not. If user is already existed, I will not make register in my database, right? If user is unique, then I will only register. So whatever I will check, how I will check using the loop, using the if else condition, I will write here. So this code can be written inside class like this, public class, let's say user. Okay, here, got?
Yeah.
Now you said that what do you mean by interface? So interface simply means that, okay, I will do what, interface, public interface, let's say public interface user I, let's say user I. So now this interface, like this interface will have all the names only of these methods, like void login, right? So I will write only void login. Okay, like this. I will write void register like this. Now when I'm using this logics, now I will use here, I will just erase it little bit, and one more concept I will write here. I will write implements user I. So now it means what, I am using all the properties which is present inside this user I where I'm using inside this login. So this is the practical example that I was explaining you, right, Chandana? Now got it that this is the all the methods that is required in this class. So I write the method names here, I define the method here, but all the method definition and method bodies are present here. So this is the interface, and this is known as implementing classes. Okay. Clear? For more information about interface, about anything, if you understand Hindi little bit, you can go to Code with Ankit. I have made a video already, okay, very beautifully presented there, okay. So you can go and you can more enjoy that playlist. Just anything related to Java now, anything related to Java, just go to Code with Ankit playlist, open that playlist, and inside that playlist you will find Java basics to advanced, okay. This one 51 videos are there inside the playlist. It is not too much updated, but okay, it's enough for your learnings. So whatever concepts you find that okay, I am little bit stuck, you can find here and just keep, okay. So interface is there and everything is present here, okay. Look, interface in Java, what interface in OOPS, it is here, fine. So you can take a look and understand more clearly. Fine, I will meet you guys next time, tomorrow at 9 p.m.